No, I kind of shed hunt for myself. Like it's personal for me. Before our show, I didn't ever want anyone to go with me. I didn't want it to be filmed. I didn't want to post pictures about it because it was like my time away. Like we've got our hunting show and we've got our turkey series, and I'm with Dylan and Mike and Aaron and everyone else from the crew during that time. Like shed hunting was my thing. Like Mike's getting into it now. Dylan still don't give a shit about it, but Dylan does realize that there's a market for it and people follow it. So Dylan's kind of opened up, a little bit to it. Like, yeah, posting that stuff does have a positive effect on our channel and our following because that's what people care about this time of year. So in that regards, I've kind of been, using photos out of my logs over the years, and we'll throw photos on the Breaking Point channels and stuff like that. And we're doing vlogs and everything. But the best times I have shed hunting are when I go without a camera, without anybody with me, and it's me looking for deer antlers out in the middle of nowhere. No one bothers me. So, social media, I feel like it's beyond even talking about because what is done. But social media to an avid shed hunter killed shed hunting, in my opinion, because they send the wrong message. Like nobody posts that they went and walking for 8, 9 hours and didn't find anything. You see the people that posted that they went out for 2 hours and found 6 sheds, and one of them's a 70, 80 inch antler, and it gives the wrong impression to the people that you're just going to go out and find antlers, and that's not the case. So
I'll
I don't
interject
know.
there real quick. There's a group of guys called, I think
Yeah.
their show's called the Whitetail Experience, and they do post about all the miles they walk and they never find sheds. And I actually respect that side of it
That's
where it's
the
like, damn,
reality.
these guys,
Yeah.
they get their asses kicked and they still go out and do it, which is pretty honorable.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't tracked or looked at all my mileage this year, but like last year, I walked 370 miles, I think. And yeah, I found a good amount of antlers, but I walked a lot to find those antlers, and the average person that's gonna go shed hunting might go for a day and walk 4 to 6 hours. I can't tell you how many 4 to 6 hour walks I've had where I didn't find shit. So it's not, it's I don't
But
like social media when
I
it comes to shed hunting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of miles, especially when it comes to shedding, you got to put in. Um, Even just being my first year, and I know I've kind of loosely kept track of what I've been averaging in antler, and it's actually on the lower end, but I still, it's still close to 4 miles, which is, that's a long walk to find one antler
hmm
every time you go out. But
no,
yeah, go
that's a
ahead.
good point. Like I was like, so this like could just spark like a whole thing like with me, but like,
Spark it up.
I'm planning on, a video here at the end of like shed season I'm gonna do is like if anyone's watching any of my videos, like the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 are all tips on shed hunting. It's all shed hunting tactics, right? But like at the end, like right now, I'm tracking this year my miles like pretty closely. Right now, I've walked 70 miles and I found 5 antlers. And so, I hope to end up in that 20 to 30 range. But like, what you guys just both said, it's however many miles you're walking to find that many sheds. And for me, I might find 20 to 30 in a year, but like Brendan said, if it's not just a couple 4 to 6 hour walks. I mean, yesterday I went for a 5 mile hike and didn't find anything. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of those days in just even one shed season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people often overlook deer density. Like depending on the area you're in, if you're in my area, for instance, our deer density here is probably significantly less. And I've got to admit, I've not even looked into it to compare it to what you guys are up against in Wisconsin. But I imagine it's less just because I've lived up in the Midwest before and know how many deer I've seen while hunting up there compared to what I see when I hunt down here. But that's a factor that most people don't
That's an
even put
interesting
into.
take.
Yeah, you don't even put in consideration, and they'll go out and get discouraged when they don't find something. And
Not
even,
only deer
Yeah.
density, but their concentration at that time of year. Because you could
yeah,
be in an
Yeah.
area that has 50 deer per square mile, but if they're not in a few 100 yard area in the winter, you're gonna walk a long ways before you find anything.
yeah,
Yeah. Perfect
Yeah.
example is Dylan. I mean, Dylan sees it firsthand working with Jeff Sturgis all the time. Jeff's got a property that's dynamite in the fall. Usually holds anywhere from 4 to 10 mature bucks in the fall.
Oh yeah.
And then come shed season, they leave after the season, and you never find sheds on that property. How many people go to the woods, thinking the deer that were there in the fall, their antlers should be there, and that's just not the case. They might move 2, 3, 4, 5 miles and drop their antlers where they're wintering, and people don't understand that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I think-
same way our property is here. I mean, like to a T. Deer just move out after season, and they don't come back until late summer, and sometimes even a little bit later.
Yeah.
And that's just the way they are. What do you got, Comstock?
I literally wrote a blog post about that today that'll be published tomorrow. Like how many times, and especially if you live somewhere where you don't get a ton of snow. So like, with Jeff's like example, if people go into a property in the spring and they're seeing all these awesome deer trails from, like the fall or whatever, and they're seeing rubs everywhere, scrapes, and then they're just baffled when they're not finding sheds, like they're just simply not there. Like when it comes to the fall, you can't shoot a big buck if a big buck isn't on your property or nearby, right? It's the same exact thing when it comes to sheds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people get mixed signals. That's kind of what we're talking about when it comes to social media.